Welcome to the Entrepreneur Motivation Podcast. I'm your host, Chris Bello, and today we've got Ryan Kelley on the show. Ryan, welcome.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks so much for letting me jump on with you. I've been a big fan for a while now. Listen to a few episodes or downloaded on my phone, and I get through them in the morning run sometimes. So it's a great honor to be here. I'm humbled. Thank you.
Sweet. Yeah, it's great to have you on here. And I think we have a mutual friend. I mean, I've interviewed Chase Tuning on the show too. So I saw you had a picture with him recently. So it's always cool to connect. It's a very small world, right?
Chase is a great dude. He really is. And I enjoy all of our conversations. I've known Chase for a few years now. Got to know him through Nick Bear here in Texas. And our relationship just grown ever since. Big fan of his work as well.
For sure. Yeah. Him. And I guess I didn't even realize his brother Max. And I'm from Houston, like I said. So like the whole Alpha Lead and, clothing, fitness brand, YouTuber lifestyle. I know that they all kind of live that. So it's really cool to see. But anyway, it's about your story today and how you've grown your brand. So Ryan, why don't you introduce yourself for us real quick?
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. My name is Ryan Kelley, and I'm the president and founder of this beautiful company called the Home Loan Expert. And we're mortgage bankers, and not the sexiest of jobs out there. I get that, but it's where I've been for about 20 years. A couple of years prior, I was doing residential, commercial real estate, but I would say for the last 18 years, I've been in the home lending business and assisting people with buying homes, refinancing homes. I think most folks know the deal there. And we've really grown something special. Those 17 years, 18 years in the industry have been filled with ups and downs and everything else. I, like most folks, started underneath somebody else, learned my business, learned my traits, did it all very well, and then just grew from there and started my own company, my own bank, the Home Loan Expert. And here we are since 2008, 12, 13 years later. And when we look back at what we built throughout the years, it's just unbelievable what we have here with the Home Loan Expert and Hero Loan and HeroLoan.com.
That's amazing. And I can't wait to dive more into your story, but I found it interesting that you started off on the real estate agent side and then you moved over to the mortgage space. What was it that really made you move over? Did you talk to someone in that area where you're like, I think that fits me more? I'm just curious to see why you made that jump.
Yeah, great question. I'll tell you, when I was younger, I would always, look up to certain people and what they were doing and, try to take those good habits and implement them myself. And I'm also a dreamer, so I chase a lot of dreams. And at the time, when I was in my late teens, getting to my early 20s, there was a gentleman that was involved in commercial real estate. And I just really admired everything he had built. He was in his mid 30s, maybe upper 30s by then. I was like, I want this. So I got into commercial real estate at a young age, and that led me into residential real estate. The commercial brokerage that I was with was sold, and unfortunately the young 22-year-old kid didn't go with it. So I had that early shot at commercial, but then nobody else would give me a chance, to get into commercial real estate, because 20 some years ago, that was an old man's job, an old man's business. And as young kids, they didn't have any place in commercial real estate. They were smoking cigars, drinking martinis with beards, at the bar by noon every day. And now, fast forward, fortunately, it is a different game. Commercial real estate has a lot of younger 20s or so. They're the ones leasing up the properties in the cities and doing everything else. So definitely has changed. But 20 years ago, I did have that early break, got in commercial real estate. That company was sold. And then I landed in residential. I worked my butt off in residential realtor, I guess, for lack of better words, real estate. I took Rookie of the Year with Coldwell Banker, knocking on doors, finding the sales, working the listings, doing all that. Went to the commercial side of Coldwell Banker and asked for a position on the commercial end. They said, nah, probably not the right time. Why don't you do some more residential? Did another year, took a lot of awards, did great, and then went back to commercial again, like, come on, let me in now. And now I want to do another year. And it just kind of burnt me out. I was chasing that dream of getting back to commercial real estate. And I was finding out no matter how good I was in residential, I wasn't going to get that opportunity in the near future. So at that time, a good buddy of mine called me up and said, bring all those awards you've gotten from real estate and come work at my mortgage company. And I said, shoot, let's give it a shot. Let's go. I have nothing to lose here. And I made that transition into residential mortgage lending, like I said, about 18 years ago. And that's where I've been. When I got into it, doing the math, that was the early 2000s, 2003, 2002, in that era. It was really ramping up to that non-prime, subprime housing market blow up of 2008, the big crash, right? And I was involved in the mortgage industry, and I was thrown into a cube and told to read a script and take all the information and hand it to the guy or girl behind me and just keep doing that. And that's how I was introduced into the industry, kind of the Wild West of times, and just sit in the cube, read a script and fill out the app and hand it to someone behind you. I worked with his company for 4 years, and in 2009 had risen up to I don't know if a general manager position, senior loan originator. We weren't really big into titles, but I had risen up. I was no longer sitting in that cube, talking with as many borrowers and all of that. And I just wasn't happy. I was working for a company where the owner had no vision of growth. And he was kind of an absentee owner, didn't show up very much. And when he did, there was a lot of yelling and screaming and pushing and yelling at the employees. It's just a really bad environment. And from the outside looking in, I had it really well. I was doing great in St. Louis, Missouri, originating a lot of loans. People knew me, and all this was, I was running an office. But on the inside, it was just not a good situation. So I got married to my beautiful wife. We got pregnant on our honeymoon. Life was changing fast. And in 2009, I made the decision with my wife, 4 months pregnant, to quit that job and to go out on my own with no resources and start building what we have today at the Home Loan Expert. And that was that entrepreneur in me coming out, that idea of leaving something that was comfortable on some level, pay for sure. Maybe it beat me up every day. Maybe it was a horrible environment and all that, but the comp was guaranteed. It was pretty good after all those years. And then making that decision with a 4-month pregnant wife, newly married, new baby on the way, to essentially quit and start from zero in 2009 when the housing market was crashing around the world. And that was the beginning of Home Loan Expert. The early years, the years I'm known for knocking on doors. I had no money for marketing. We had nothing like that. So I'd wake up every morning, I would knock on doors in the neighborhoods, and my reach grew, and I knocked more and more and more. And before you knew it, I was highlighting all the street guides in St. Louis, Missouri. And I'd been knocking for 2 full years. And back then when a loan would close, we would take the money and get caught up on our bills because we were always behind. And then we would take what was left and fill up the pantry with food. And if there was anything left, we would save it for marketing. And after 2 years of knocking on doors, we'd saved up $5,000. And it's tough to think about, but back then I thought those were the hardest days of my life. But looking back, I wouldn't trade them for anything. And that $5,000 was everything that I'd saved. 2 years knocking on doors. My wife is now pregnant with our second child. I knew something had to click. So I took that $5,000. I second mortgaged my home, and my wife gave me her 401 that she came to the wedding with. And I bought my first radio deal with ESPN 101 in St. Louis. And that was around 2010. And I took my Home Loan Expert brand to the radio, to the sports market specifically, and launched a lot of loan programs in St. Louis over the next several years, and grew in that St. Louis market. It was fun times because I knew when the radio started that my message hit well and that people identified well with me because I'm just a normal dude. There was no jingles and rhyming phone numbers and all the BS. It was just me going, hey, do you have a crappy loan? I can probably get you a better one. I'm the Home Loan Expert, Ryan Kelley, and just my message hit. It really did. This was at a time when everything was so polished and pretty. And we grew quite a bit in St. Louis over those next few years. And I expanded into Chicago as my second market. And about 3 years later, similar thing, and ESPN picked up, I had the Cardinals, TV commercials in the Cardinals, which we still do with the St. Louis Cardinals. Watch the games, you'll see my beautiful face in all the games. We have great fun spots that we create on iPhones and do quirky things. We had the Blues, we had the St. Louis Rams as 3 professional sports teams that had the commercials running in, plus the radio, and everything else was just moving, and we were growing fast. Picked up Chicago, did the same, but put the Cubs there, the Bulls, the White Sox, and ESPN 1000 up in Chicago and CBS to score, and keep this story going. Indianapolis was my 3rd market. Nashville was my 4th market. That takes us up to about 3.5 years ago. I was Ryan Kelley, the homeloanexpert.com, originating loans in St. Louis, Chicago, Indy, and Nashville, and was ranking as the 2nd biggest loan originator in the nation out of 1.1 million loan originators. I was hitting the list of number 2 every year for units closed. So a lot of hard work. My team, that's where it came from. I was there at the beginning as one person, but we grew into something much bigger than I could ever get to. And it's just the hard work put in by me and the dedication and hard work by our team, or, chalk that off as the main reason. 3 years ago, we thought, we were doing well and we were growing well, but then we made a decision to kind of change routes a little bit and our strategy. Instead of growing Ryan Kelley, the homeloanexpert.com, city to city, state to state, I started bringing on other top originators from around the nation. So let's go all the way to today. Current day now, we have 30 loan originators, not just me. And they're primarily the top originators in their markets like Austin, Texas, Tampa, Florida, Phoenix, Denver, Chicago, and so forth. So we've really opened up what I used, my marketing, the thought process, my team, everything that we had built for Ryan Kelley and thehomexpert.com as I was growing. And now we've opened it up and have 29 other great top loan originators around the nation. You know, we're the fastest growing mortgage company while others are struggling coming out of a refi boom. We are still growing and dominating our markets. We're kind of that challenger brand. We're definitely not a big boardroom sitting around, you know, giving each other bonuses and doing all that. Like, I still have an originating team now. You know, we still do several $100 million a year in closed volume just on my team. And, you know, it's something I'm proud of. But we're not normal banking financial people sitting in that boardroom. We're real and we're really good. And people know that and they appreciate that. And we've grown to, I would say in 2022, we'll close $3 billion in loan transactions next year. So we've come a long way from those knocking on doors, you know, and it's a lot of hard work, a lot of adversity over those years. And we have a brilliant, bright future ahead of us. And we're just really excited about the things to come. The other thing, I think, just besides the hard work, and we can dive into all of that here in a moment, but our giving back is also unmatched. And I think that has to be right here in the opening as well. It's really one of the things that separates us, again, from others in the industry, is the fact that our giving back never stops. And we are constantly looking for more ways to improve our communities in those 19 states and growing, to look at how we can help make an impact in people's lives. We do a lot with children battling life-threatening disease like cancer. I climb mountains for them. I've been to Ecuador, South America, Alaska with teams. We'll get into the foundation next, but we climb mountains for kids battling cancer. And that's something we really enjoy and I love doing. Heck, I just came back from the Appalachian Trail. I had 40 fellow employees with me and we hiked and climbed for 3 days on the AT, raising money for Ronald McDonald House charities. And that was just a magical time. So beyond the climbing, we're just always doing stuff. Just this morning here in Austin, we were volunteering our Austin group at a foster home here and just helping sort things, organizing things, building shelving. I mean, we are more than just a mortgage company, and our giving back is a big part of that. We have a foundation as well, the keepclimbingfoundation.org, which is all our climbs and everything that we do. But I just literally gave you from 2002 or 3 to current day here as we wind down 2021. And probably record timing if we looked at a watch. I went through those years fast, but you get the idea. I got in the industry 18 years ago. I worked somewhere else for a few years. I left to start my own thing, and we took a lot of risk and pushed hard and knocked on doors and launched with some radio and sponsoring a lot of big podcasts and doing other things, and really grew and then had more growth. And a lot of eyes on us now as, you know, we go into next year to see what this kind of mom and pop start feel company can do against the big players with 40,000 shareholders, you know, and competing by closing the same volume that they do and doing it a lot better. And our clients just love us because we take care of them and we treat them well and we get them in that new home in weeks, not months. And we thank them with tickets to ball games after and past client events after and just everything. We're always giving back to our clients, the community. So we're just different, you know. We're not the big online lender. We're really cool, if you want to be honest. Like, we worked really hard for that.
You get cool points as well because you live in Austin. I know it's like you have to be cool to live out in Austin, Texas, from what I understand. I got some friends out there, right? You got the long hair, you know.
Quit shaving. Otherwise, you're gonna be like, oh, you're not from Austin. Where'd you move here from?
Yeah, you fit in well. It's great, like with the t-shirt and everything. I love that casual look. And like I'm actually, Topo Chico. Like I'm kind of growing a mohawk too. You can't really see it, but like I started doing it because I'm in Denver, so I'm trying to fit. You know, I gotta look like I'm in a Denver person, but I'm really just going more in on personal brand. So I love that you guys said, you know, you're real, you're authentic. People value that. They're not all about the like you said, the jingles and the rhyming slogans that you hear on commercials. Like it's no longer about that. People want to see real people that they like actually working with. And it seems like, you know, what you've built really encompasses that. So props to you guys.
Yeah, think about this. So we do a lot with Fox Sports now, Bally Sports, all those professional sports teams. We buy in-game TV spots. It's about $100 a second when you're going to jump in a major league game. Doesn't matter if that's NBA or NFL, whatever it is. NFL is maybe a little bit more. You have the power of the NFL. You have less games and all that. But for baseball, for hockey, for basketball, you're about $100 a second. You want to jump on a Chicago Cubs game in Chicago Metroplex, $100 a second. So we buy it as a 30-second block, but then I can talk fast. So I do 3 5s and 1 15. That way I can get more frequency in a game in case you missed a spot. And when you go out there and you do that, you really have to treat your clients well, because it's one thing to get in front of that type of audience and say something and get people to call, but you need the referrals, and the more referrals, and that has to just grow down, or cost, you can't get away from that. But my point to that was, in the early years, we would use our production studio, at our office to film these, or go to the local cable company or rent a studio, do whatever, with big lights and cameras and all that stuff, and green screens and the tricks and all the BS, right? And then 5 years ago, if I could find my phone, which I don't know where it is, but you can still get the idea. 5 years ago, I said, I'm done with I'm done. I'm going to shoot all my Fox Sports TV on my iPhone. Like, legit, it seems okay now, but 5 years ago, when all the car companies are still in front of a podium with green screens and Toyotas flying around them and save now, more like all that, like everything was kind of produced that way. And then I started shooting, hey, hope you're enjoying the game. On the next commercial break, visit thehomeloanexpert.com. Like, I started filming skits and just cool stuff on my iPhone. And then I remember calling my rep over at Fox Sports. Can you hand me my phone over there real quick? I remember calling my rep and going, hey, I have a new batch of TV for you. And he's like, cool, send it on over. I'm like, no, I'm going to come down and airdrop it to you. And he's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, I'm going to airdrop you my spots, like, off of my phone. He's like, come on down. So I went down and I did. And he thought it was a joke. I'm like, no, man, this is what I'm going with. I'm done with green screens. I'm done with all that. Like, the real content. That's what people want to see. They're watching the game to be entertained. Mm-hmm. And so they did. They put it in production. And then the president of Fox Sports Midwest, Buddy, calls and he's like, is this a joke? Like, what are you guys doing? I'm like, play the spots, man. And now that's all I've ever done, and now other people are doing that as well, because it hit hard. Like, people were finally, so I'm going to move this. That light is like right above my head, although it does give me a nice halo effect. It's probably distracting. It was real, my spots were real. They were us walking through a subway in Chicago going, subways are slow, but I close loans fast, like, avoid the crowds. Visit thehomeloanexpert.com, just real on the street recording with my iPhone, TV spots, and then airdropping them onto TV. It's just being real and not trying to fake the front, and just, if you're really good at what you do and everybody knows that, then it doesn't matter. Like, I can wear a t-shirt, because if anybody in my industry talks to me for 20 minutes, they know I know my shit. Like, so I don't have to put on the suit and be like, look at how fancy I am, like, look at me, I'm all pretty for you. I wear this suit for you. Like, I don't need to do that. I just can be me. The long hair and beard came from COVID. Like, that was pre-COVID, not just the Austin thing, but moving down here. I moved to Austin about 2.5 years ago, and then COVID really showed that nasty face. Buddy, well, the math. 2 years ago, here we are going into it 2 years later. But when people started fighting for toilet paper and all that, I was just like, well, shit, I'm not shaving anymore. I'm not cutting my hair anymore. So I just kind of went that direction, and a lot of folks did. Just but most have cleaned back up. They've come out of the house and all that, but there's still me with the beard and the hair. And I can still see people, like, at a restaurant, like, he probably didn't have that cool mustache before COVID. That probably is a survivor, but anyhow.
Yeah. It's cool to see. I think more people are getting more comfortable with the reality of the situation. More people are working from home, t-shirts, remote. Like, no one's dressing up in a suit to do a Zoom call, right? I stopped doing that years ago too. With my podcast, has enabled me to just be like, hey, I'm going to be myself. Why fake, or why try to, like, portray someone that you're not, or that you're not comfortable being? And so it's really cool just to see the world going into that, that angle. Like, hey, if you show up in a t-shirt, I don't care, because 20-minute conversation, like you said, your shit. That's all I need to know. If you know what you're doing and you can get the job done at an amazing, with amazing experience, it doesn't matter what exactly you wear or how you appear or clean cut. More and more entrepreneurs out there are getting, like, sleeve tattoos, and they're just, hey, this is me. This is my brand. I'm going to start dropping F-bombs in my podcast, and no censoring, right? It is what it is. And people either love it or hate it, but the people who love it, they're your ideal clients. They're going to refer more people to you that are your people, right?
Absolutely. And I get to wear cool brands like Hero Loan. I get to put on a cool every day. I get to look at my t-shirts and be like, today's a Hero Loan type of day, or today's a Topo Chico t-shirt day, or whatever it might be. We didn't even touch on Hero Loan. And I know you have some veterans that do listen, and probably some good active military folks as well. I'll tell you, Hero Loan is our VA brand. So we have the homeloanexpert.com. That's where you go for all your mortgages. Just hit me up. Go to the homeloanexpert.com. Follow us on Insta. Follow us on Facebook. We have great content. We do cool stuff. Homeloanexpert.com. You can get to everything there. But for our military, for active service members, retired veterans, their family, the VA pool, right? We launched Hero Loan. And instead of just coming out and saying homeloanexpert.com is really good at VA mortgages because we're the best, why come out and say that? Let's get a second brand specifically for our military, for the VA loan, because we knew we could do VA loans better than most folks. So we created Hero Loan, heroloan.com, and launched that. And we take great care of anybody that's VA eligible. That's the only place you go for a loan. I mean, we can close it as little as 14 days on a VA loan. Rates are like low twos. You can buy a house with no money down, zero. I don't have any money. You can buy a house if you're VA eligible. Buy a house. So just a lot of great benefits. So if you're in the military and you're watching, check out heroloan.com and follow those socials. We do a lot of great stuff on our Insta account there.
Yeah, you guys have done a really good job with branding and just creating a bigger mission, right? Like all the volunteering that you do, giving back. I love it. I mean, even the names, Hero Loan and Home Loan Expert, those are amazing, like real estate domain names, right? To buy that, I'm sure that was an investment up front.
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that. So I get asked a lot for Home Loan Expert, how did I get the money to buy it, right? It was like free. There was no value there before. Nobody wanted it. There's no brand. When I went to GoDaddy, I could do the Home Loan Expert or the Home Mortgage Expert. And I had them both written on the wall. And I went with Home Loan Expert because mortgage is such a bad word. Nobody likes a mortgage, but home loans. So I bought it. It was like free. Anybody could have bought Home Loan Expert. It's the brand we've created with it.
Yeah.
Hero Loan was a little different. Hero Loan we had to pay for. It wasn't crazy expensive. I mean, that's relative. It would have been crazy expensive to me in 2008 or 9, when I was still knocking on doors, but it was okay. It was within range because we knew that even if it was a couple $1,000 that we could create a brand around it that we add some zeros, and more importantly, have a catchy name that our veterans and our service members can remember. Hero Loan, Hero Loan, Hero Loan, because they are all heroes. Hero Loan, Hero Loan. And if it was up to me, and if it was up to Matt Murphy, our marketing director for Hero Loan, the VA loan would be called the Hero Loan. It's kind of our goal, right? Like we call it Kleenex, even if it's any other brand. Well, the VA loan should just be called the Hero Loan, right? So that's our mission, is to change the name from the VA loan to the Hero Loan, only available at heroloan.com. And again, just giving those service members the respect and the loan that they've earned, that they deserve. We put those files through our system so fast, it's like they're on fire. Like the industry average is 2 months on a VA loan, and we're a couple weeks. Like that just shows you how dedicated we are to get those loans closed, those VA loans, and revolutionize and change that segment of our industry.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, I'm in all the Facebook groups for real estate agents, and I see so many people talking about, gosh, I can't get VA loans approved, or like people don't want to accept the VA offer because, like you said, it takes forever to close in many cases for a lot of these companies. So it's incredible that you're able to do that in just a couple of weeks, that you get the paperwork done so quickly.
We won't sleep. We'll work those files 24 hours a day for our military, members of our military. We
That's
really
awesome.
do. And then we rock in the desert with them. We do, we do climb for PTSD. We climb mountains for Fisher House, great organization. Everybody in the military will know it's like the Ronald McDonald House charities, but on military basis for military family members. And Fisher House does amazing stuff. So we're out rocking, we're doing things, and we're supporting real military nonprofits and real military events that people want to go to that respect the military, not just some flash in the pan type stuff that has big brands, like the real stuff. We're down there doing those great things. So yeah, our Hero Loan brand, it deserved its own brand, it deserved its own t-shirt, it deserved its own website, it deserved its own everything, because that's how we say thank you to all of our service members.
Yeah, that's a really cool way. And I love how you've really rolled in the impact and the purpose to your business, because even wanting to change VA loan to Hero Loan, like it sounds cooler. Like they do deserve to be called heroes. They are heroes, instead of a VA loan sounds like so corporate, So I love how you're changing everything about it, like having cool branding, cool logo, cool t-shirt, stuff that they would probably love to wear. If you gave out a t-shirt at closing, I'm sure that they'd wear that for you.
Yeah, we ship them bottles of wine now from a winery out of Oregon that's veteran owned, 2 generations, dad and son there. We ship up the Hero Loan shirts, the Hero Loan hats.
Very cool.
They come back and they ask for us to get involved in special projects for them. And definitely we say, yes, how can we support it? Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. And we jump involved. And, when you call a lot of those other VA lenders, you're talking to a call center. You're talking to a bunch of kids that don't know anything, where we have a lot of my close friends and other close friends of others within our company come in and speak with us about their tours that they've done, where they've been, what they've seen, what it was like leaving their families, where they've been in Iraq, Afghanistan, wherever they've been, all the way back into Vietnam and even further the Korean War. We have people come in and talk to us from the Marines, from the Army, and they talk to our entire company. They tell us about those sacrifices. They tell us what that's like to run towards the freaking gunfire, to run towards it, not away from it. And that way, when we do talk to folks at HeroLoan.com, we can respect it. Then it's not just a yes, sir, yes, ma'am, and reading a script. We can talk. We can talk about those tours. We know a lot of them now. We know people that have been engaged with that. So Hero Loan is a big part of our business and a big part of our growth. And huge shout out and huge thank you to everybody that served for our great nation.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I love everything that you're doing, and it's super cool to hear your story. I mean, a lot of times we hear it's the things that aren't super sexy. Like, you don't have to reinvent the wheel, right? It's the things that you got your start in residential real estate as a realtor. You moved over to loans. You worked for somebody for a couple of years. You got your feet wet, and then you went off to start your own thing in that space. You didn't go try to like recreate a product or invent something from, go on Kickstarter and all these things. Like, you did what you knew. You knocked on doors and you just did it long enough. You tweaked things. You came up with your own branding. You bought Hero Loan, and here you are after 18 plus years of being in this space. Because I'd say a little more than 18 probably, because if you count the realtor stuff, a lot of that talking to people, right? A lot of it's applicable, right? It can go either way, because I have some lender friends too, and they do a lot of the same pop buys and networking and that kind of stuff. So it's just really cool to hear your story and how you've come so far. But I want everyone listening to realize, like, you just did what you got into for a long enough period of time, and you honed your craft and you tweak things along the way, and now you're this amazing brand and company that has cool t-shirts, does all the stuff. You do the rucks and everything with military members. Because it's so easy to be overwhelmed at the beginning. Because I'm kind of earlier on in my stage. I think I've been in real estate for 3 years, and I'm like, okay, I'm finally sending gifts after closing to clients, like baby steps. So it's really cool to see what you've done.
Yeah, just building out the systems. And then for us, it's just great people. I mean, in 2 weeks, I go out every year. We go out to dinner. Our first 10 employees, the first 10, we're still together, and others hundreds, but it's just like nobody really leaves. We all stay here because we are more than a mortgage company. Yes, we are the best at what we do. I mean, our loan originators are the tops in their cities. Our underwriters and processors and ops are the number ones in the field. Like, all that's great. But we're more than that. We're about giving back. We're about taking care of our military. And then we climb mountains and do things. We took our profits and launched a foundation. So now we have the Keep Climbing Foundation, keepclimbing.org. Check it out. It will showcase all of our previous climbs, who our partners are. In about 2 weeks, it's going to launch. We're doing 6 big climbs next year. One back down to South America, one will go to Nepal. A lot of big things. We raise money for the foundation with these climbs, and then we donate 100% of it out. So Home Loan Expert and Hero Loan cover all of the costs for our foundation, so that 100%, every penny of our donations go to great organizations like Fisher House, like St. Jude Hospital is coming on board now, Ronald McDonald Charities, Girls on the Run, Friends of Kids with Cancer. I can name them off, but we have these partners, and then we do great big donations to them. And then we get to see what that money does and how the families are impacted and how it changes lives. And that's really, for us, what it's about. And we'll keep kicking butt and keep being the best lender and keep doing all these great things and helping homeowners. We love to do all of that. But at the end of the day, a lot of our passion and the reason for the growth that we have today revolves around giving back. As corny as that might sound, it's really a big part of our culture at our company, and the foundation, backs that. We work hard, and our reward is the foundation. Pour the money into that to do great things around the world.
Absolutely. Super cool. Well, I love that we dove into your story, what you're doing, giving back. Is there anything that we missed? Any questions that I should have asked you that I forgot to ask or failed to ask?
No, I think I've really enjoyed the conversation. It's kind of an informal get together and chat, and let's stay in touch. And
for sure,
if there's anything I can ever do, if you as a realtor and me as a mortgage guy, you let me know, man. I'll help you jumpstart, kickstart some clients, whatever you need. And I'm ready for that.
Awesome. Thank you, Ryan. This has been an awesome conversation. I will link everything up in the show notes. I know you've got so many different links and things that you're doing. So I'll add your social media, anything I can find, as well as Hero Loan, Home Loan Expert, keepclimbing.org. So really great conversation. You're a down to earth, genuine dude. I can just tell from our conversation. I love this casual feel, and that you give back. You know, you roll up your sleeves and you actually do the work too. That's really cool, and I really appreciate that. So thank you once again, Ryan.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Go get up those mountains. They just got some fresh snow in different, different parts. I watch a lot of your mountain ranges up there in Colorado. I climb them in the summer and play them in the winter. So get up in that pile, have some fun. We'll talk to you real soon.
Yeah, we'll talk soon. I'm going to go snowboarding, take lessons and all that. I'm still kind of a noob, but getting my feet wet or snowy. I don't know what the term is.